Hey, this is Seven. I'm doing this trait review for Crescent 2. Apologies if I sound sick and or tired. I am tired and I'm not sick. I just have really terrible allergies this time of year. Met it up pretty heavily before this review, but it might sound like I'm still sick anyway. Apologies for that. We'll try and work through it. So,
Okay, let's do guys.
I believe, yeah, we're starting on Evolve Village. We are rolling at Migoats, which is a fine combo at this point. Some variations run instead of the Brig, some variations run Diva. If they scout enemies to play DPS comps, like HSL seems to be here, but I guess we didn't scout that, or we're practicing for a team that does not run DPS comps into here, so we're rolling out with the Brig. Okay, moving on. We should run through main. Yep. One other thing that I noticed, which is unusual actually, before we move on through routing, is that your flex DPS players on Mei and your off-tank players on Brig. Typically it's the way around, with your flex DPS on the Brig and your off-tank on the Mei, but some teams like to run it this specific way that you guys have it right now, simply because your off-tank doesn't have the Mei in their hero pool. I'm not familiar with these players' hero pools, so you're probably just playing around those, but again, just wanted to point that out because it's unusual.
Go left.
Reason it's unusual,
Okay,
of course, I shouldn't have to point this out, but I will anyway. Just in case, is that obviously if you want to swap full goats, if you want to keep all of your charge here, right? If you ever need to swap full goats for some reason, you'll lose all of your Brig ult charge, or you'll have to have your flex DPS on Diva.
Go left, quick.
Okay.
Bobby was good.
Okay, so that's a really good rotation. Reason being, only Ryan is pushing past this corner. So you'll notice everybody else on the rotate here stayed behind his shield very well. Like in here, we used both bubbles, which is fine. But the main thing is that nobody else pushed past this corner. The reason it's good that nobody else pushed past this corner is Pharah can use Concussive Blast here to boot people out. But what Ryan can do, if he is the only one close to this corner, is he can just flick his shield up and block Concussive from booping anybody. But say if Ryan was here and people pushed past corner to here, he would not be able to block Concussive Blast coming through as effectively. People might get booped out and caught out. So it's good that he is the only one pushing past corner.
Oh, we got nothing. Sombra,
Move on.
I'm not.
Okay. Ordinarily versus triple, because I assume we scouted this and we scouted this definitely. So we know they're running some sort of spam comp moving through here. Into spam, what I typically like to do, and I'm sure you guys have seen this routing before, is we run into Shack, run through one bubble rotation while in Shack, because there's still 15 seconds left until the point unlocks. You're out through here, you run through one bubble rotation at this door, right? On the door on the other side of whatever this window is. This lets you get your shield back, this lets you get your amp back. If you used wall on the way there, it lets you get wall back, and if you use pack on the way there, it lets you get your pack back. So you run through a bubble rotation at this door. Once bubble rotation has gone through, and once you're close to getting your bubbles back, you move on to point as it unlocks. Like I said, it gains charge through your bubble rotation, and it gives you all of your resources back. So not only do you reset resources back to 0, you gain resources from gaining charge. So it's an overall net gain play for basically no drawback, because the point is not unlocked yet.
No bubbles right now. Be careful.
Hilda, it's okay.
Alright, but we're
I
going
will
to talk
go
about
like-
what we
I
do
will
anyway,
go-
because we
no, no,
commit
no.
to this. Okay, so once you hit point, we skip the whole routing through there thing. And what that does is it sets this run on fire. But what we're going to talk about is the positions we commit to. So we have a Brig over here, we have a Mei over here, we have a Zarya over here. What we should have is the Mei over here with the Zarya. And we should already have a wall up over here. There should be no reason that we don't have a wall up to the right now. What wall would let us do is it would let our Rhine more effectively block damage over here if he needs to. Though with lower Mei wall health, what he would probably do is just stay over here and recharge shield. But regardless, it gives us that versatility. It lets Zen reposition over here for free. And it lets the rest of our team reposition without spam. once again, reason I want May over here, ideally, with the wall here, we can't have people rolling through, the ball, of course, rolling through. So what the May over here lets us do is it lets us cut off only one route for the ball. We can stun him as he comes through this one route we've left him, freeze him. We have Discord with our Zen over here. We have damage coming through with our Zarya. If we went through a bubble rotation earlier, she would have higher charge, but even right now, it should be a good amount of damage coming through with the Zarya. And icicle damage coming through once the freeze comes through with the May. Ryan can even turn around and Fire Strike, but that's rather irrelevant. He can or can't, depending on whether he feels like he has the room to. But yeah, it sets up that play. It sets up Zarya being able to push past here, use her personal to gain some energy, maybe push some people out, and it lets Brig more effectively stop Sombras from this angle. It just sets up this decent CC crossfire that I like a lot, and it enables pressure from Zarya a lot better.
I will shield where I am when I call it now.
Okay,
No,
so we move May over there. KSA is very low. He was getting caught by a lot of rocket spam. We use our personal,
Pedersen.
and we use our projected. Okay, so we're using our projected to move our Zen over here, which is okay, but what we could have done instead is used our personal to, because I know there was rocket spam coming through here because KSA was getting low from it. So what we can do instead is we can use Zarya's personal to body block that damage and let our Zen Scarippa move into this corner. Wall also comes through. We'll talk about that in a second. But we can use our personal to move Scarippa into the corner and save we can use a personal rather to do that, and we can save our projected to cleanse status later or help Brian out if his shield breaks. So now we have everybody on this same side here, which is also incorrect. I already explained why we want to set up that CC crossfire. So let's move on to the wall. This wall was extremely late and it's mispositioned. So like I said, not only is it extremely late and it put a lot of unnecessary shield damage onto Orion and set it up so that our Brig took a lot of spam she shouldn't have. It was from this direction, but the wall would have let us reposition a lot more effectively. So she likely wouldn't have taken as much poke. Rather, that's irrelevant. What the main thing is your Ryan's shield broke, right? Or it's going to break probably soon. So what the wall earlier would have done is it would have let him regen shield. It would have let everyone reposition a lot more effectively. And it would not lead to... I am assuming there's probably going to be like a dynamite or an anti coming through here right now because your Ryan shield's going to be broken and there's an enormous gap right here that they can just toss things through. So it's extremely late and it's way up. This wall will probably kill your team, along with the fact that your Zarya has no bubbles.
Be careful.
Yep, dynamite comes as soon as I said it. Dynamite comes right through that gap, hits both your Ryan and your Zen in this corner. Your Brig, because she's not positioned correctly, is not able to protect your Zarya from a hack here. The hack doesn't matter too much because she already used both of her bubbles. But if she didn't, it would matter. But she already used both of them, so it doesn't matter too much. Here, let's see what happens.
I'm hacked.
Why did we... Okay, so we packed what is essentially a full health Zarya, who is under no duress whatsoever. I know these guys are antied now, but they weren't until literally just now. So packing them before would have been a lot more effective than packing your full HP Zarya. Even if she's hacked, she's under no duress right now.
But it's useless.
So
I
your
don't
Brig
know.
gets moved back into the corner, and Sombras just able to poke down two of your teammates. So it's mainly the wall that killed those two. Like I said, let's break it down. So we misused projected here to bring Zen over. What we could have done is we could have used personal and then used projected later to cleanse status. that was incorrect and likely led to a lot of damage on your teammates. The main thing that led to a lot of damage on your teammates and the thing that led to their deaths was the misplaced wall. We could have placed it a lot earlier, probably around, I want to say 3 to 6 seconds earlier, which is 3 to 6 seconds that we could have spent recharging shield. Because we did not do that, and we also misplaced it. So what misplacing it did was it let dynamite come through, and it let that dynamite do a ton of damage to others that in Orion, set them on fire, and set them up for the ante later. So the late wall made our shield break, the misplaced wall let them set up a dynamite, and from there it just snowballed. Oh, and like I said, the Brig armor pack was misplaced. So all of those things compounded into these two dying, everyone being in these weird positions right now, and just general bad juju.
We're all standing in. Remember to rotate from where
We have the pot. We have the pot.
Okay,
No, we don't have.
should actually
We have
have a
the
point
one.
here. This kind of wall is what I'm talking about. This kind of wall could have come in like 5 seconds before, and it would have been glorious. Nobody would be dead right now, and we'd have point and ult advantage. And we'd probably have energy, she probably would have been hacked, blah blah blah.
No,
It would have been a lot better. We get the pick. Wait. Okay, so I thought we'd probably move in here and get a pick, but it looks like our Mei is chasing a ball this way. That's extremely incorrect. So versus teams that like to dive your core, like in Bunker on Hanamura First Defense, for example. If you have a Mei in that comp versus, say, something like a Genji or I don't know why you would be fighting against a ball on Hanamura First Defense, but a ball or something like that. Things that like to dive your core. Something you can do is when a Genji, say, dives your Bastion and your Orisa, you can literally just freeze him off. The Mei existing in that space scares the fuck out of dive heroes. So Mei in this space can deny Hadi a lot of value versus his team as he rolls through point. If KSA hits a stun on Hadi and you're able to freeze him again, he's essentially dead. But that's the reason why your default wants to be on point. There are times when you can chase things. 2 steps that you run through in your head should be, can I kill the thing I'm chasing? And if I kill it, am I less valuable to my team than this thing I am killing? Because this situation he's putting himself in. He's putting himself into Sombra who's able to shoot him. He's putting himself into later an Ashe who's able to shoot him from way over there. And Ana who's able to shoot him from way over there. He's just putting himself into a very bad position. But if he can confirm this kill, and if the thing he's killing is more valuable to the enemy than he is to his own team, it's a good play. But in this case, neither are the case. He is much more valuable, Numi is, much more valuable to his team right now than Hadi is to his own, because all Hadi can do is take damage and charge support ults. What Numi can do is he can deny value with freeze from Hadi. He can spy check Sombra. He can deny value from all sorts of other things coming into point. He combos very well with his Brig, whereas Hadi is playing mostly solo at the moment. And he can help defend his Zarya with wall once it comes off cooldown. So he's a lot more valuable, Numi is, to his team than Hadi is to his team. So that doesn't matter. On top of which, I don't believe he can kill Hadi here anyway. Because Numi doesn't have a Zen. Hadi's at basically half HP in LOS of both of his supports. So we're moving out of default position to run after something we likely cannot kill. And even if we were to kill it, it would not matter as much as us dying. Alright, let's move on.
King bottom. Where do you think?
We
I got a
get the
pick.
pick on the Sombra, and yep, Numi
Nice.
dies.
Dead, yeah.
Numi dying here is
Stand
very,
right.
very,
Keep
very
focusing
bad.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm dead, yeah.
I don't know
Stand
what's
close.
happening
Keep
with
focusing
that.
alive, keep focusing alive.
Get
Okay.
left side. left.
If Numi, think about if Numi were on point right now, this would be so much more valuable. He could just be freezing Hadi and denying him so much value.
Killing you?
Come,
But
attack,
instead we
come
have to
attack,
kite
yes.
out. Okay, Helviet's
They will
back.
have
It
a
looks like we
bit.
kind of stabilize here.
I'm gonna go on top, I'm gonna go on top.
Okay. Again, if May were alive, we could literally just set up default positions and nothing could get through. What's probably... Okay, so they just hit Barrage. They're about to get Valk. They're also really close to Bob. What's either going to happen is a Bob is going to move through here, and he's going to hit point, and there's nothing our team can do about it because we can't wall him out. Or they're going to Barrage from this side, and there's nothing we can do about it because we can't wall her out. So May dying there not only gave Hadi a lot of value, it's probably going to kill your team again. One way or another. But let's
Ball
find out.
behind.
Okay, we say balls behind. Yep, I just heard the barrage come through. This one's dead. Your brig was looking this way. Really quickly, micro thing. Your brig, if your Rhine is already looking this way, your brig does not need to be looking this way. Like I said earlier, things, because your Rhine's over here, things will probably be, things that are relevant to brig will probably be moving through this way. So your brig doesn't need to be looking the same way as your Rhine unless your Rhine tells her to. If your brig was already looking this way, she probably could have packed her Zarya. She maybe could have personaled through a barrage and done more damage to the Pharah. And it would have been a lot more winnable of a fight. Like I said, like I said earlier, it's extremely hard to win this fight already because your May's dead, but it would have been more winnable if KSA was not looking this way because he doesn't need to. He needs to be looking this way.
I'm solo barraged.
Yep.
I'm solo barraged.
I don't know why it keeps playing twice, but yeah.
I don't use my bit.
Your May dying there costs you 2, and it's just clean up for their team
I
from
have
here.
grabs
There's
on
not
the
much
screen.
you can do.
Nice one, nice one.
We hit a pin.
I'm okay. I'm dead now.
Yeah,
Come around point.
it's just clean up for them. We should recap here.
We have ult, we stay.
We stay, we don't switch.
Decent stall though.
They have EMP.
Yeah, they will have.
Please remember
I hit
to
my bot filter.
rotate
I apologize for that.
sides. You don't have to watch help, you have to watch their Pharah.
Yeah.
Because you're standing takes
Uh,
free poke because
To the choke, don't take spam from them. I will
Go,
go.
go.
Okay. Okay, let's turn this back a little bit. So, quick note. We saw them use Barrage, and that's the only ultimate we've seen them use. So we know they essentially have everything else at this point, right? Because we fought them for so long, we took so much spam. We absolutely know for sure he's at 98, but you should just assume he has ult at this point. Because he ran into your team so many times. We know that they have mines, we know that they have Bob, Valk, EMP, Nano. Nothing else here is important except the MP, okay? When they have EMP, in my opinion, there's pretty much no reason to stay on comp just to push through. Because ideally what's going to happen is they're going to, ideally for them, is they're going to EMP you, right? They're going to charge a lot of their barrage off of EMP and just barrage you the fight after. So the point of staying comp, right, the point of not swapping, is that you have ults, right? You're able to normally use those ults to gain advantage into a fight where you would not have advantage if you swapped comp. But they have EMP, so even though you have ults, it doesn't matter because you can't use them. So if an enemy has EMP, especially if you're running comp into a disadvantaged situation anyway, there's no point in keeping ults if you can't use them because they're denied by EMP. So what will likely happen is they'll pop EMP, they'll charge barrage off of it, and they'll kill you 2 fights in a row using only 1 ultimate each time.
Choke to don't take spam from them, okay?
So they'll maintain both ult advantage and comp
I hit
advantage
some
because you
of
just refuse to
I
swap.
will go.
Go, go.
So what happens here? Okay, yeah, they just EMP you and you get fucked. I believe your Zarya saw her decloak, so she might have been able to hit her with a grav, but it would have been very, very sketchy and very, very difficult. That's the only way I see you winning this, is by your Zarya making a strong play with grav as soon as she saw
I'm
uncloak.
back.
There's
I'm
a
back.
bait.
Fight lost. Perfect. Next fight we're gonna
And everyone gets fucked.
They will
pretty
have
much
bomb, they will have
instantly.
nano, mines, merci, Farah. Farah, I'm not sure. They're close, but
Okay, let's see if we
Yeah,
make
that
any
goes.
adjustments. Negative, okay. We're running with the comp. So,
okay, let's go.
another
next.
reason I don't really like to run with this comp, I'm gonna mute audio for a second. Another reason I don't really like to run out with this comp is literally just because the male essentially does almost nothing versus this comp. The only thing it does is it denies area from ball, and May existing does that anyway. So it generally accomplishes almost nothing versus this comp. So if we're going to swap heroes, like even just one, I would swap that hero. I think, though it is decent because we can wall out some poke from here, a D.Va would accomplish the exact same thing. Though I know we have this strange setup with KSA on Brig and Numi on May, so it kind of locks us into this situation. Okay, I'm actually going to unmute audio.
But don't stop, don't stop.
Okay, that's a good wall. That's actually a really good wall. It's good to mix up rotations like this. Sometimes shield moving through, sometimes wall moving through. It keeps you unpredictable. This ball is going to slam you, and what's probably going to happen is you're either going to get bobbed here, or there's going to be a barrage from over here, over here. I don't see the Pharah, so that means she's off over there, off over there. Also, I don't know why I said bob from here. The Ashe is there, whatever. Okay, yeah, she barrages you from here. So what you could have done is been watching here and solo grabbed her, or you could have solo grabbed the ball before, or you could have just solo grabbed something else. Playing into triple, a lot of your pick potential is solo grabs. The team plays so split, but we're holding on to ults and not trying to make any plays with them. Team takes massive damage. Another thing we could have done there is beat engaged. They don't have EMP anymore, so beat engage is actually relatively strong. But all we do is wall and just take it. We don't need to be moving into this team with all of these resources, ult-wise, using none of them. The only way you'll ever win into triple right here is making plays with your ultimates.
It's pointless trying to play this.
Go
Okay, yeah, they're swapping. If you were gonna swap, you should have just swapped earlier. But I feel like the swap will be good because I don't feel like you guys had the momentum there to make plays like I was talking about.
Merci.
So we're swapping to double harasser dive. That's pretty good.
Somebody's on us. Somebody's
I'm
right
ready.
here. Stop. She's right here somewhere.
Okay, we're looking for a Sombra right now.
She is here.
Yeah,
She's right
but,
here.
She is here. She is where. You should be calling location for the Sombra.
Yeah,
Here's Bob.
yeah.
Here's Bob.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wait the Bob. Wait the
left,
Bob.
she left.
Wait.
Instead of saying she is here, you should give us specific locations so that your team can better follow up.
You ready? Abushu?
Okay, let's see how we handle this dive.
Wanna hack Ash? Ash hacked.
Okay, this is really fucking good, actually. So, we set up a crossfire with our tanks here, and our Moira. This is a really good crossfire, actually. Because a lot of their poke is here. It forces them to make a decision, like, do we defend against the tanks, or do we defend against the Moira? Do we defend close range? Do we defend long range? Not only is it a crossfire, literally just like a planar crossfire, I guess. It's also a positional crossfire because two people that they're fighting are extremely close and one that they're fighting is very, very far away. So this is really, really good. Okay, it looks like she gets hacked out of Coalescence, which is unfortunate, but the damage is already kind of done because our tanks are set up in this position up here. So it doesn't matter too much. That is a terrible minefield from them, but wait, she kills this. I don't know how, but good job. Okay. All of us rotate point. Winston being up here is fine. He's pulling aggro from like 3 or 4 people. That's very strong. And all we're fighting on point is ball, so he doesn't necessarily need to worry about his team. And even if Winston dies there, I'm just going to mute audio for a second. Even if Winston dies there, like I said, he's pulling aggro from so many people. It doesn't matter. But he doesn't either, which is good. I'm not sure how he doesn't. He should have, but he doesn't. Okay, so we're just taking position on point. It's going to be interesting to see how we approach this. I'm actually going to pause this and see if I can turn down the audio anymore without muting it. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see how we approach this, because we can't really push out very effectively versus their comp, because they'll just spam us out with the Pharah, but We have barrier. We've had this beat for like 8,000 years. Who is this? Oh, that's your Lucio. I guess he's hiding up there from EMP. Yeah, I'll actually discuss that real quick. So hiding on high ground from EMP, especially if like the only place you can potentially hit teammates is on this bridge, which is really sketch because they're below you, they just don't get beat, is kind of bad. What I would do is I'd like hide in shack, or I'd hide like over here, or even just like on the other side of this, like on here, but on the other side. I hope you get what I'm saying with that. But Lucio up here is, in my opinion, not an extremely effective hiding spot from EMP, because I assume that's why he's up here. So what we can do is try and set up crossfire with harassers, so that we can more effectively hit a bomb. We can also set up crossfire similar to what we did last time with our tanks and with our coalescents, keeping them alive on the enemy team while applying pressure with our tank line to their back line. Is it really doing this again? Is it really doing this again? I'm gonna turn the video back and hope to God this works. Oh my lord. This keeps bugging out. It bugged out on me last time too. Okay, let's... How do I... How can I change this? Let's try reloading the page, see if that helps. It seems to have not helped at all. Outstanding. Okay, this is my third attempt at recording this, and it's done this every time at about the same time, and I'm not sure what I can do about it. Huh. Well, I'm going to... Last time I had to restart my PC to get it to work. I literally instead of Q, I reloaded this, and here, watch what happens in YouTube. It's doing the same thing. Maybe if I exit of YouTube. Let's try that. See if that works. No, okay. Let's try reopening. Here. I'm going to pause the recording real quick and then just start recording again if I get this working.